I want to toss things over to meteorologist Blake Hansen. Blake, again, you've been tracking this all day long. What are you seeing at this hour, especially for people who have to still drive home from work today?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it'll be a slower evening commute by, even for our standards at this point of winter. But, once we get through this evening, we will see improvement in many spots over the course of tonight. And tomorrow, whatever we get, we'll easily dig out. So, of course, we've been saying this all week that we're not expecting a major milk and bread storm by any means. This is not going to be something you remember in the spring, but it's definitely enough to be inconvenient this evening and even through tonight. Our 13 weather impact alert continues through midnight. Now, having said that, I still think we're going to see some additional snow tomorrow morning in the way of lake effect, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. The biggest impact is that this will be enough to plow. Visibility will be reduced. It'll be slick out there through this evening. It's really just one of those days, and again, we're already at mid-February. We know how to do this at this point of winter, just a little bit of extra time and distance. We can see satellite radar. We are seeing widespread snow in some spots, heavier than others, but overall we've seen the heaviest snow really from Muskegon, Newaygo, just south of a Big Rapids line, just based on those darker shades of blue here on radar indicating that heavier pocket of snow. That's where we really have seen that over the last few hours. Lighter snow, but consistent south of Grand Rapids, but have seen a bit of an uptick in snow across parts of Van Buren, Kalamazoo, Calhoun, Berry County, even a little bit eastward out of our area towards Eaton County. But all in all, this is going to continue over the next few hours. I think the biggest thing that I'm just keeping an eye on, notice that kind of what we call a donut hole over Illinois, where you see not much in the way of snow, especially the northern half of Illinois. There's a lot of dry air trying to funnel into this system. I think that's been the biggest forecast challenge over the last 24 hours, how much dry air will limit the amount of snow. We'll keep an eye on that pocket of dry air that's over Illinois. Notice, however, starting to see some snow expand just to the north of St. Louis. The forecast models are very consistent that we won't see this dry air work into West Michigan, but just something that we'll have to really keep an eye on over the next hour or two. That could limit how much snow we see. If it doesn't come into West Michigan, well, we'll continue our consistent snowfall through the evening hours. This is all being driven by a low pressure system that's currently just north of Memphis. This is going to take a storm track right through Cleveland. And that's going to take this kind of jaunt over the next 6 to 12 hours. That generally allows for some accumulating snow in the lower peninsula, including us here in West Michigan. But again, we are battling some dry air with this system, so that's limiting somewhat of the snowfall. But you can see all the winter alerts across the Midwest into the lower peninsula, even an ice storm warning in the Toledo area. They are going to battle some wintry weather in the way of freezing rain, and that's why they have that ice storm warning in the Toledo area. Some of that wintry mix might sneak into parts of Metro Detroit, especially in Monroe County, Lenawee County, down in the southeastern half of the state. But here at home, we are just expecting snowfall. That has been the case all afternoon long. There's the look in Muskegon. It has been consistently snowing in Muskegon since around 11:30, so almost coming up on 5 hours of snowfall now. You can see those snow-covered roads in the heart of Muskegon. Our winter weather advisory will continue through tonight. Now, having said that, I do think the bulk of the snow will come to an end around midnight, and then we'll replace that with some lake effect tomorrow morning. Here's our hour-by-hour forecast. Notice this particular model keeping the dry air out of West Michigan. So we're going to stay with a consistent snowfall through the evening hours and then slowly start to see this break up as we approach midnight. There will still be pockets of snow, but we might see a bit more breaks in the snow depth itself before finally after midnight this peels out of here. There's the lake effect that gets a little bit of a kickoff of Lake Michigan early tomorrow morning. This is around 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Could see some impacts linger at the lakeshore depending on how that lake effect sets up tomorrow morning. And then this will fan inland over the course of the day, and then we'll be under dry skies by the end of Thursday into Friday. Now, by the end of this evening, another 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, and then we'll add on to that gradually through tomorrow morning on top of what has already fallen, another 3, 4 inches of snow. Again, is this the biggest snowstorm we've seen? No. Not by any means, but it is enough to be inconvenient for our evening commute. And then as we go into tomorrow, there's some of that lingering lake effect at the lakeshore. Could see Muskegon northward piling up a little more than other places. So we are still expecting, obviously the morning commute wasn't an issue. The evening commute, that's going to be the highest impacts felt around West Michigan. Tomorrow morning, I still think there'll be lingering impacts, especially on those secondary back roads that aren't treated. But with the system snow peeling out of here after midnight, that should allow the road crews to take care of business on the main roads, the highways, for example, and then we'll see a lot of improvement across the board towards the end of tomorrow. Of course, temperatures, they're only in the lower 20s. This is meaning snowfall here at home. The wind, not a huge issue this afternoon, a couple gusts up to 20 miles per hour, so we're not really worried about blowing and drifting snow. Now, having said that, I do think the wind will pick up tomorrow. Temperatures, at least through this evening, consistently in the 20s, but there's the wind, our forecast for gust through tomorrow. And you can see tomorrow afternoon, we really pick up that wind out of the west-northwest, 30-plus miles per hour, and that could blow and drift some of the snow around and impact those north-south oriented roads tomorrow afternoon. Our snow chance is not done after tonight. We are going to see another system work into the Great Lakes region, and this is another tricky system to forecast. We will have a quiet Friday. The daytime hours will be quiet, but towards the end of Friday, this is Friday evening, we're going to see a burst of snow come through. A system races across the Great Lakes region. This could provide a quick punch of a few inches of snow Friday evening and the Saturday morning. And then we'll see a front set up shop right around the state line, and that's going to separate the cold air to the north and the warm air to the south, or at least mild air for this time of year. And you can see that based on the precipitation type. While we're still dry after that initial burst of snow Friday night, look what happened Saturday morning through the daytime hours. Notice mostly rain south of the state line while we are on the colder side of that front, and that could allow consistent snow throughout Saturday. There's still a good amount of questions on how heavy this snow will be Saturday. I'm leaning towards that it'll generally be a consistently light snow. Now, having said that, it's Saturday, it's the weekend, people are trying to do out and about things, so we'll have to keep an eye on how Saturday plays out, as we could see travel impacts much of the day before that's out of here towards the end of Sunday morning. But by the end of Sunday, we'll see lake effect snow pick back up. So Lauren, Julia, I think the bottom line here is that, you know, it's still mid-February. We still got a lot of winter to go. You know, it's just one of those things. Is this a storm you're going to remember 2 months from now when we're enjoying 60-degree days? No, I don't think so. But it is enough this evening if you do have to be out on the roads. Really just give yourself some time and distance, and then we'll move on and get ready for the next round over the weekend.
And Blake, one question for you. I know our viewers at home love to sort of know about, you know, the process of forecasting. Originally, we were thinking, oh, this is going to be a bigger deal, you know, 6 inches plus. That has slowly trickled down to now where, you know, we're looking at still significant snowfall, but many fewer inches than we were originally thinking. Can you walk us through kind of how you guys forecast that change over the days before a storm actually hits?
You know, the biggest thing is that we really try to recognize patterns in our atmosphere, and you know, models are just a glimpse of what could happen. You can't rely on the models. I had a professor at Central Michigan University that always screamed at us, don't trust the models. And you know, you just got to use the models as some guidance, and it's all looking at pattern recognition and how past storms have behaved in these types of patterns. And you know, we talked about that low pressure system lifting through Cleveland. Generally, from a climatology standpoint, that does give us decent snowfall. And the models were locking in over the weekend, even into Monday, that we were going to see more snow than what's going to happen later this evening, on the order of maybe even double-digit snowfall. We were pretty confident in that, actually, all the way through Monday afternoon. But once that system started making its way on shore over the Pacific Northwest, it ingested better data across the country, and we started seeing a trend where we were going to battle some of this dry air, and that's what's been kind of allowing for this decreasing trend of snowfall over the last 36 hours or so. And now that we're actually in it, you're kind of seeing that play out even a bit more than what we were expecting. You know, here in the Grand Rapids area, it took a while this afternoon for the snow to come in. So it's all about pattern recognition, trying to have confidence in those models and see the trend that they're doing, and just do your best in terms of that forecast, because we know how it goes here. It's not easy to forecast snow. I know, you know, a lot of people think it is, but you get in the hot seat, and it definitely can be a challenging situation. And that's what we've kind of contended with this system by far.
And like you said, Blake, it is not easy. So we want to thank you and all the meteorologists here at 13 on your side. They've been working all day long.
You guys are
nonstop.
great.
You know, Blake came in early. He was like, I'm ready to work. Like, we really appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. You know, it is just one of those those things. You just try to do your best. You know, we don't try to hype anything up here. We just try to do the best with the data that we have and try to do our best with communicating to the public. That's all we try to do here.
Blake, thank you.